7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon and happy Saturday. This is Celebrate Life, Free My Mind. Can my life be a celebration, a soliloquy of love, a song of romance, a melody of peace? May I have this dance? Can my life inspire joy? Is there excitement in my step? Am I hell bent on thriving, or is survival what I accept? No, I want to dance. I want to sing. I want to shout from the rooftops. A song of romance, a melody of peace. I want to sing. I want to shout from the rooftops. And I will. Yes, I will. As soon as I break out of this box. I can laugh until I cry. Oh, and I can make it rain. I can go as far as I want as soon as I get off this chain. Yeah, and I will speak my mind, taking back everything they took. For real. Oh, and I'm getting it all back as soon as I get off this hook. What's holding me back? A box? A chain? A hook? Look, eyes wide open. I can see, and I'm going to free my mind with this book. Happy Saturday, y'all. Thank you for tuning in once again to Poetic Levitation Live.
Welcome.
I am your host, Lakeisha Prima Donna Lampkin, and this is my co-host extraordinaire,
Teresa.
And we have a special guest in the house today.
Yes, we
Teresa,
do.
please do the honors to introduce our special guest.
My cousin is in the house today. Cousin Millie, go ahead and introduce
Cousin
yourself.
Millie's in the house. Woo, woo. Hello, Millie. So nice to meet you in person finally. We've been kind of back and forth through, through Teresa and through text and email, but it's so nice to finally put a face with a name to this very inspirational young lady, very inspirational, very powerful young lady.
Yes.
So, Millie, tell us something. Tell us something about you. Tell us a fun fact.
Fun fact would be, I like water. Like, you would always find me near water.
Oh, that's
It's very
good.
peaceful.
That is.
Yes.
That is part of meditation, like we talk about.
Tranquil. Tranquil, calm. Water is
Levitation.
calming.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. Very
Elevated
much so.
levitation. Okay.
Yes, y'all.
Okay.
Welcome to Poetic Levitation Live. We're just going to flow today, guys.
Welcome to Black History Month again, you guys.
It is still Black History Month.
Yes.
Year, decade, millennium. Yes, it is.
Yes, we guys ain't talk about Millie. She is the one I've always talked about. Reading those inspirational, get lifted messages, and I think it's really cool to have her here today to talk about whatever is going on, and probably to get people lifted. We all need some lifted going on. It's been a rough week, or we all probably had some things going on in life. And, probably give you guys some get lifted messages to probably inspire you guys for the rest of the week, Yeah. So, that's probably what we're going to get some of that going on later.
All right. We're
And we're going to get some of your
poem.
poem. We're going to get your poem in here too, Lakeisha. Yeah, we're going to get some of you.
Oh,
Go
yes,
Black
we're going to
History
do
Month,
some
yeah.
more poetry. Definitely. But I kind of wanted to talk about, let's talk about our week first.
Let's talk about
How was your week?
That vibration of a purple color we got going on right now.
Yeah,
Like we were in each
yeah,
other's
we did
closet or
not
something.
Plan this. We didn't plan this
At all. I
Purple
love
is
it.
lavender. More like lavender is my favorite color. But I mean, it's in the same family. Purple,
forward
But
to.
yeah, we just kind of in tune today. I got my purple bracelet on. I got my, I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but my
Yeah, the
hair
purple
is a little
hair
purple right now.
is super cool.
And I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
It's super cool. We got the amethyst
It's fun.
necklace going on.
Got
Both
my
of us got the
amethyst.
necklace going on.
Can't see my
over
pants, but they're purple.
They're
Yeah,
purple, yeah.
pants.
Purple, purple.
Purple pants, purple glasses. It's purple day. Teresa has on her purple too. I don't know. I was feeling it.
Little purple African outfit I got on going on. You know,
Yes.
soon to come.
Is that one of your own?
Yeah, this is
Designs?
one of the little pieces I got going on. Soon to come. It's out there.
Okay.
It's coming soon.
Very nice. The
It's in-
colors
it's
are
in the
popping.
works. Oh, thanks. You know,
The
me,
colors
I
are
love,
popping. I like it.
I
like
love
it.
my colors.
I
so,
can't
you
wait
know.
to see more.
Ooh, yes.
Can't wait to see more. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Nice.
It's gonna be a great show today, you guys. So we can wait. It's been a long week. We were supposed to be talking about our week.
Yeah. How was your week?
My week was quite challenging, I guess. I can't complain. Let's just put it that way. I've learned to tell myself that, you know, as much as going on in the world, that, you know, not to complain as much, you know, to be acceptance about life and the things that's going on in life or with me or whatever the case is. So it was life and life acceptance for a week. That's what I
Okay.
can say. I can only say whatever it gives to me. I have to just really get lifted, lift myself up with that, and kind of keep it moving. You know, things are going to happen. Punches are
You
going to
had a couple
come through. Or
challenges
whatnot. Challenges.
or-
Yeah, you're going to have to
Okay.
face challenges, and you know, and I'm human, and I'm going to face a lot of challenges. So you know, I'm going to, and I'm appreciative for my support group and the people that I have around me to inspire me to keep me going. You know, thank you guys. Hey, thank you,
guys.
Keisha.
Yes.
Yes.
We
So,
are
you know, it's been
here.
challenging, but you know, it's not that bad that I need to complain about. Let's just put it that way.
True,
You
true.
know,
Wait.
you know, it's curveballs and things that happen, but at the same time, these are learning lessons. For me, I love challenges like that because it teaches me and it helps me grow.
Right. But in
And
that
it
moment, it
me,
doesn't.
I love. Oh, in that moment, it doesn't feel good. No, it doesn't.
No.
No.
So
It
I
doesn't,
don't know
but-
if
but
you care to share,
wisdom.
but like what in the general vicinity, what kind of challenges?
Emotional roller coasters, you know, of course, you know, emotional roller coasters and life challenges. As for things that come to you or through you, you know, like you know, things you can't really have any, you don't have any control of. You know, like you know, your car breaks down. Or your transmission get the heck on and you know say goodbye.
Boom. Okay. So
You know, yeah. So
I'll share one of my challenges from this week
Okay.
is, you know, I'm constantly checking my credit report. Like I get the notifications from Credit Wise and Credit Karma.
Right.
And, you know, because I want to do some things in the near future,
Of
hopefully.
course, of course.
And so something hit my credit report. I think it was Sunday or Monday. I'm like, I was so close. I was so close to that number that I have in mind. And, you know, and they like hit it 2 more times. Bam, bam. I'm like, no, stop it. And I'm like, you know, and it's a medical debt, something I have. You know, I have
You
a
don't have
little,
any control of.
I have a
It's-
little
it's
control.
medical, yeah.
You know, I found out, you know, there's some things that I learned when I was doing credit repair,
Okay.
you know, a few months ago. So I'm executing some of those things. I executed one of them and, you know, that worked for 2 of them, but the other one is still on
Okay.
there, the biggest one. And I'm
Okay.
like, ugh. And so it just dawned on me the other day, another thing that I can do. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that this week.
Okay.
And, you know, so that was one of my challenges this week that I had to kind of get over. I'm not over yet, but
But you
it's a
still
working-
facing it.
it's a
still
work in process.
progress.
I'm
Right.
working on it.
Really?
Working
You
on
have
it.
anything you want to share? Well, how was it? What
Any
was-
challenges for
any
you
challenges
this past
you
week?
faced it, you know?
My week was actually coincidentally a part of self-admittance because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff like in regards to learning how to get over stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
family issues,
Mm-hmm.
closet wounds that
Oh,
you know
God.
are starting to come forward.
That's
Oh,
good.
wow.
Ah,
Closet
so
wounds.
it's
Look,
like-
I could have said that too, but go ahead. I don't
So
know.
like when you sit in it for a long time, I've sat in it And self-admittance is you sit with it, you deal with it, and you find a solution. But what I was doing, rather than finding a solution, is getting angry and regurgitating what my feelings was inside.
Yes.
Just opening up and just. I honestly was
I know
getting,
exactly what you
getting mad
mean.
at
You just kind of
everybody.
cycle
Yeah,
around
it's
through
like,
it, and you go take
why
yourself
would you
through
put
the.
this here knowing it's
Yes.
not there? And it's like, but I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad because I feel this type of way, and I can't get to that point and say, this is what's wrong. This is how I fix it.
Right.
I gotta move forward.
I know exactly what you mean.
So it's
man.
like now that's where that self-admittance comes in, when you're like, yo, I have to actually like buckle down and deal with it. And some people, it takes them a really, really big boulder in their life for them to sit down and be like, I have to admit that I need help in this. I need help in that.
Of course,
because,
of course.
You're
Yes.
gonna
It
keep
takes a
going.
really big,
You're gonna keep going until
Yeah.
you actually say, I need help. And that's what I had to do this week.
Well, that was very big of you, to be able to be aware, because a lot of people are
Yes.
not aware of their feelings, their emotion, or anything that's going on with them. That was part of one of the shows that we talked about, being aware of being in tune with yourself and being aware of the
that's
things that's
good.
going on with you. So for you to be in tune, to know that, and to be able to make changes and challenges, that is steps already of you progressing, of growth. Of to the next level, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely really good. I'm happy that
That's
you even
very
going through
good.
that. Those are steps. Everything's a
And-
step. It's not going to happen right away. Just like she said, for her to get over anything, everything is not going to be a step. So
No.
just,
A lot
are
of times
challenges.
it's a process. We want it to be a step a lot of times.
you want it to be like now,
And-
right now.
And that's why self-care, I'm going to tell y'all something that I think I'm going to share a little bit. I won't get too deep, but I was just going to say how important self-care is, and
Very important.
you will be surprised. Like, I have been confronted with some things that I thought I got over years ago, just recently. Like, sometimes we stuff things away, and because we're not feeling the pain of it or the whatever of it in that moment, we feel like we've dealt with it and I'm good in that area. And we find out later on, it'll come back up. I thought I was good. Well, man, what happened?
You didn't
You
didn't release that.
You
It
just,
wasn't
somebody
released.
said something, and out of the blue, you just
blow
snap.
up,
Like,
yeah.
What? Where did that come from?
It was never
You know
gone,
what I'm saying?
really.
Yeah, you could.
And so it was one of those things for me this week. And I realized there were things that I didn't consciously, on purpose, bury them. I thought I was dealing with them, trying to work through them and, just make sure my self-esteem was still intact and just working on myself and healing and all this, because there's a lot of things that I want to do in the world, and those things are going to require me to heal
Of course.
from
From a lot of stuff.
a
From the
lot of past trauma,
yeah.
and just
And future.
toxic people,
Exactly.
toxic situations, and you'll find out real fast. Thinking that, you might think, okay, I'm completely over this, I'm good.
That you're not.
But if it hasn't really been dealt with, it is going to come back to the surface.
It is going to come back.
One way or the other, to let you know, okay, you need to deal with this. And that's a part of self-care. I wanted to talk about self-acceptance today. I mean, and that's part of it, because part of self-acceptance, you have to face yourself.
Yeah, self-care too.
You have to face yourself and all your feelings, emotions, and process and deal with those things that have gone undealt with. I mean, I feel like a lot of people that are suffering with illness today, physical illness,
Mentally.
not just even mental illness, because everything is mental, right? Everything is mental, like. So with that being said, it's like a quote that somebody said today at another meeting I went to earlier. They were saying how dis-ease in the body is the result of and a lack of ease in the mind.
Mm. Of course. Because you haven't released.
So
Wasn't
it's
able to
like we
release
really
it, so,
do. It's really important to pay attention to how you feel about certain things. Like you might, because sometimes, okay,
So
so
your
you
body
got
tells
everybody
you.
has this voice. I
Your
was about to
body
get to
tells
that. Yes,
you,
your
yeah,
body
it
lets you know
reacts. It's like,
because sometimes your ego or subconscious mind or whatever you want to
intuition,
say will kind of talk to you and be like,
like a radar. I know, I get it a lot.
that
Like
I
if
just,
a situation, if you're uncomfortable, you feel a certain way, or
you know,
if
you get,
something is said, you either tense up, like just
yeah.
It's just,
But sometimes we talk to ourselves and we say, well, I shouldn't feel this way about that. Or that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal.
But
I
your
shouldn't make a
body
fuss.
is-
I shouldn't make a fuss about that. But you can physically feel the sensation in your
in
body, that
in
something
the
is
inside,
off.
yes, and that's
But we
sucks
talk ourselves out of these things. And so
because you don't
sometimes-
know. That's why you don't.
sometimes
really know.
because we were trying to rationalize or how we feel, we don't know how we really feel about something. Okay, so another example. Let me just say this, okay? I'm not a morning person. Never have been. But I can get up and do what I got to do. I can get up and make it happen. I have been. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able
She's shaking
to.
her head like,
So-
no, I'm not a morning person either.
But I'm not a morning person. But so I don't want to get too specific, but we had talked about it the previous night. This is me and my boo talk about, I want to get up earlier because I want to do this and I want to do that. I'm going to try to get up at this time. And so when I woke up, I didn't immediately get up, right? So I was just laying there, right? But it was 12 minutes past that time that I said I wanted to get up. And he made a remark like, oh, I see you not getting up at blah, blah, blah 12 minutes ago. And I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't say anything in that moment because I was like, it's not worth getting that upset about. But I was upset.
Inside.
I was, and I tried to like talk myself down in my head while I'm getting up and getting ready. I'm trying to talk like, it's not a big deal. You up now. You're not late. You just didn't get up at the time you wanted to.
You was gonna get up, yeah.
But instead of just going on and moving on to that next thought, it just, like you said, it just went in that circle. Like, why did he say that?
Yes.
Don't get up in the morning talking to me like that. That's not a good joke. I'm not a morning person. You know how sensitive I am about it. Just,
And see,
yes.
yes.
And it turned into this big thing. And I just released all this emotion. And he's looking like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's because I didn't realize how I really felt about it. And had I realized that, when we know ourselves, we can set the appropriate boundaries and say, hey, don't play with me about that because I'm sensitive about that.
But the good thing is about that is that it's like that you was able to say something,
right?
And then you guys are both in tune about the fact that, okay, well, I know not to play about that because he probably didn't even mean it.
And he was like, I will never play with you about that
he probably
again.
didn't even mean it.
But
in
I hate that
way.
it had to be like that, though. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it really, because I
take it in a
really
certain
still
way.
feel like, okay, this is really not that big of a deal. Like, why did you have to
See,
be so drastic?
to me, I feel like with everybody has walls, like a room, and they're in that room. And with walls, you like this vibrant color. This vibrant color can't be changed to white unless it has more coats. So when a person, I would say, makes a remark, it takes you as a person to go back and say, I don't like how I feel about that. But other people, or I would say myself, because I do that a lot. When someone offends me, rather than telling them how I feel, I respect them. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to come up in my room and I'm going to paint it. I'm like, I'm going to paint it.
Right.
I'm going to paint it. I'm just going to paint over it because I didn't see it. But I'm still going to
But it's gonna build up though. You keep painting, it's gonna build up. So the best thing to do that have been learned through or whatnot is you have to release it.
Yeah.
So releasing is by saying something, so then that person is either going to accept the fact that, okay, I said something to, offend her in some type of way, so I know not to do it again. If you're paying attention, you care about the person. If they tell you that, you won't do it again because you know how that person feels. and how it make them feel when you do it. You know, if you care. But
Mm-hmm.
there's some a-holes out there that don't really care. And they, you know, you can say 500 times about, hey, this makes me feel this type of way, but you don't really do anything about it. That means you don't care about my feelings. You don't care about, you know, how that makes me feel. You're not protecting my heart or anything like that. Then that questions your feeling for that person, or that, you know, how that person feel about you at the end of the day. You know
what I took from that experience, what I learned from that experience is to first of all pay attention to how I feel.
Exactly.
And don't try to rationalize it.
I used to.
First analyze it, right? And then accept it.
Stay woke. I'm just saying.
And then accept it. And then from that place of acceptance, then I can move on and say, you know, either I like it or I don't like it. If I don't like it, now I can do something about it.
Exactly.
But I have to accept it first and not try to, you know, rationalize it. Okay, I have to accept the fact that I'm sensitive about the fact that I don't like getting up early in the morning. And that's okay. And that's okay. I'm not a morning person. That's
everybody,
okay.
And everybody's not. You know, there's some people that are, and there's some people that are not, and it's okay because that's who you are as an individual. So if that person cannot accept it, that's what, you know, off balance of. That's why opposite attract. You're not going to be, okay, this person is sleeping, so we sleeping. No, it's going to be one person that get up early because either it's going to motivate you to get up too and do something, exercise or whatever. You know, when that's what it is about. You know, relationship about life or anybody, people, friends or whatnot. There's something different about each other that inspires us to make us do something better or anything like that. You know, so that's why I love all of us and how different that we are.
We're actually not far off track from where I wanted to go because, you know, I wanted to talk about self-acceptance. So all of these have actually been great examples because we have to we have to first accept ourselves, right?
Number one is you definitely have to accept yourself.
So that leads me to like take a step back. In order to accept ourselves, we have to what?
Accept ourselves.
We have to know ourselves.
Oh, definitely.
How do we accept what we don't know? And a lot of people don't really know themselves.
You're not paying attention to yourself. That's all.
Or not consciously
aware
or trying to, I mean, because we're all here to go higher, so to speak, to evolve, to go to the next level.
To levitate.
To step into our purpose and our full potential. I mean, I feel like that's the purpose of life. And man, they say it's iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So there's purpose. When somebody rubs you the wrong way, there's purpose in that.
To teach you something. You know, it's either going to teach you something to be stronger or to be able to deal with others, because sometimes those are lessons to see where you're at as an individual. So, you know, as your response, because, you know, you can either learn from that by taking it the wrong way to make you feel a certain way, or you can go ahead and make you even better by when they say that. And because, you know, inside when they say it, if you know you're not that way, it's hard to, you know, kind of like balance that and not get upset because, you know, you're not that way. You wonder why this person's saying that. You're not that way. So why is somebody throwing something like that that's not you? But as an individual, and I've been told, you know, I think my brother told me that. Shout out, bro.
Shout out to Johannes.
Shout out. So he was like, why bother? If they're going to feel that way, they're going to feel that way. Why bother if you know you're not that way? Basically, I'm just summing it up. If you're not that way, then don't worry about it, because that's too much energy, because, you know, I'm energy. That's too much energy to waste, to have to sit out there and argue to you about who I am as an individual. You're going to feel that way anyway, so let you feel that way.
Exactly.
I know who I am, so it don't matter what you say or what you feel, because in the inside, I know who I am as a person. So either you get to know me and figure out this person is who I am, and then you know that, oh, wow, how I thought about this picture is really not this really picture, and, you know, and learn.
And there's this quote that I love. I don't know. Well, yeah, it's a quote. I don't know who said it, but basically they said, you know, what other people think about you is not your business.
Exactly.
And I love that.
It's not.
That's freeing.
I heard the same thing.
So we shouldn't be
And
worried about what other people think, because if you're being true to who you are, what does that matter?
It's very true what you're saying, Lakeisha, and then it's also hard too, as a because I used to have issues with that, like like you fighting for your identity. Yeah, it's like you fighting for your identity because that's not who you are, but that is exhausting. I've learned that. So that's why that phrase came along that, it's none of, because it's none of my freaking business, because why am I going to sit here and worry about it and get myself away that's going to off balance me?
Like,
That I'm going to get off
why
energy
do
right
I
now.
feel the need to prove myself? Like,
No, you don't. You don't. I've learned that, but you
Mhm.
have to grow to learn.
yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? You have to grow to
Definitely.
learn that. And I've learned that now it's none of my business and I don't even care. So it ain't make you look selfish as an individual because you don't care. They make you feel like you selfish. Like, oh, she don't care. And that's good. You're supposed to be selfish about yourself because that's self-love.
Mm-hmm.
That's self-love right there. You know what I mean? Some people going to like it and some people not. Some people going to call that ego, conceited or whatnot. But as an individual, if you're humble with yourself and who you are, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
The rest is history. I don't care what that person think. Okay, you think about that? The people that know me know who I am as an individual. That's all that matters because that's what I'm going to grow with that.
Yeah. Pretty
Hey.
much.
Are we
Show's
preaching
over.
today? Am I preaching?
No, I'm playing.
Look, drop the mic today. I'm done. I'm dropping this. Drop this pen.
It makes so much sense, though. And one of my biggest lessons, I would say this year, last year, maybe starting last year. Well, I don't know. But one of my biggest lessons, period, recently has been boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries for yourself and the people around you. And it's important because when we don't set the appropriate boundaries, like the boundaries are set, but they might not be formally set because whatever you accept or allow, that's what you're saying is okay. Basically. So if there's any behavior with anybody in your circle that's not okay with you, but it's ongoing, that's a boundary you need to set. And it doesn't have to be a big confrontational thing, but we have to communicate to people how we feel so that the people that care about us are going to care what we have to say, and they're going to respect that and move accordingly. And then those who need to excuse themselves can excuse themselves.
Yeah, that's very true.
But boundaries are super important.
Because you have a piece, since we talking about boundaries and the self-acceptance of self-love, and you have any little something you want to say to them, or you want to inspire them a little bit, lift them up, get lifted?
Hello. For me, I think that a lot of people confuse self-love with selfishness or cockiness. And you have to be in that mature state to actually see when a person is trying to love themselves. And if you're not, or you're not in that predicament or in that, I would say, error, you sometimes miss it. A lot of us are mentally abused, socially abused, physically abused, and you never know what someone else is going through. And you don't know their story. You can't just look at someone and tell what they've been through. True. And I think like the past 2 decades, from the 80s to the 2000s, you can see like not saying they are a group of people, but they show the most emotion or the most anger because they've gone through so much.
Of course. Like
I can watch from my sisters going to school, back in the days where, you have your skin tone was made fun of, to now it's all accepted.
We were talking about that.
Now it's all accepted. I'm not going off track, but I'm just saying self-acceptance of now for the black women or for a black woman has become so big because now you got to accept your kinks. You got to accept your curls. Yes. You got to accept your skin. Yes. You got to accept that sometimes you may not fit the certain lipstick color that someone may give to you.
I have to accept my
a certain group or whatnot to be accepted as friends or,
Absolutely.
True.
So for me saying that, it just makes me understand that sometimes you just have to sit there and understand that people gonna talk about you to the day you die. It's
Of
what
course,
you take.
yes.
And for me,
Of
I
course.
let people talk mess. The reason why is because you have to sit there and you listen to what they're saying and you take out the good stuff out of that and you bring it to your life and say, what can I do to change how this came out? You
People,
know?
that's what I call eat the meat and spit out the bones.
No, for real.
Hey, spit them bones out,
The
girl.
bones out.
Like
Spit them
you-
out.
Take the good, leave the rest behind.
No,
Or
like-
when I watch
Spit them
tarot
bones
readings,
out.
they say, take what resonates and leave the rest.
And leave the rest.
That's
if it's
it.
meant for you and it's not
If
meant for
it's-
you.
it-
Say
yes.
So
Yeah,
like
that's good.
when I think of self-admittance, I think of, to me, myself, it's you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
You're growing.
It's a part of growth,
It's-
definitely.
Once you get like I tell my friends and I tell all the people that are a part of Mills Creations and Mills Inspired, that once you finally evolve into that mature state when you can accept constructive criticism and not get mad about it,
Mm-hmm. That's a powerful place.
you've gotten there. You just
Mhm.
all you gotta do is just put your puzzle pieces together. But right now, it's a lot of people are still trying to get the puzzle pieces together, and you have people that have already evolved. And when you mix those two together, it sometimes causes a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I think my self-admittance, I'm gonna go to the book, the
Okay.
only book that I know,
Yeah.
would be Hebrews 13:5.
Okay.
Okay.
And it says, don't love money. Be satisfied with what you have. For God said, I will never fail you and I will never abandon you. To me, that means a lot because self-admittance means I don't have $1,000 in the bank, but I'm still happy.
Mhm.
Self-admittance can be, I don't have what my friend has, but I'm happy. Self-admittance can be, I'm not emotionally stable,
But I'm happy where
but
I'm
I'm
at.
happy where I'm at, and I'm going to
Mhm.
grow to get to where that person is, or to get to
Eventually,
where,
at my
and,
timing, in my divine
Exactly.
right.
and it's like for me, that was the biggest thing that I picked up this week, and it actually happened yesterday. And that's
good.
why when you said it in the car,
Yes.
I'm looking at you like,
It was mad.
Wow.
For me,
Aha
in
moment.
tune.
yes, like
Things that make you say, hmm.
like my self-admittance was I don't know what love is, because one, I come back from an African background, and what their love means is different from what love actually could be, so
Tough love is the kind of love we want to expect. You want to describe that type
Yeah.
of African. It is, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
is.
tough love,
It
but
is.
it's
it's
like
love there. But it's
love
just
there,
tough
but
love
it's
though.
something that as a human, as a child, as an adult, it's stuff that when you start getting into the place where you want to like move on, you want to get, whether it's make friends or it's like certain stuff that people say or doing, you're like, why are you doing that, or why are you saying that to me, why do I feel so sensitive, why do I feel so attacked, but then you sit about it and you think and you're like, wait a minute, let me sit back and listen to what they say. And when you listen to it, it didn't necessarily come out rude, but it attacked you rudely
Exactly.
because of your
scars, because of your filter. All of us are looking through our
And
own
then sometimes
filter
it
and
depends on the
perception.
person too,
It
though.
does.
It's not
And then
always
we all have
yourself as
sensitive
an
areas,
individual. So
too.
don't really just always say yourself, because it's sometimes it have a little bit to do with self, but it's not always self. It have a lot to do with the deliverance too, or whatnot. The person itself, how they saying it to you,
But
and
we
how you
choose
whatnot.
how we respond.
We do choose how we respond.
Yeah.
Sometimes it do come out as an attack, depending on what the person is saying to you and how they are saying it, or
But it
whatnot.
only
So
affects you regardless of how they say it. It's only going to hit a nerve if there's a nerve
Nerve
there to
there.
be hit.
mm-hmm.
hit dogs.
Hit dog will holler.
Dogs. No, for real. Yeah, like
Y'all know I'm silly, so hey, that's you guys have given us our real natural self. Okay, you gonna love to love us,
yeah, so
love
it's
to
like,
love me.
absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
But that's an excellent point. Like,
that was a good one. That was really good.
we
and
have
that's
to
so true.
accept, certain things about us, even though certain things that we might not like. But in that acceptance of it, that should spur us on to some sort of action
Yeah.
To grow.
to grow, to do something about it. But that
I like
is very freeing. that, that moment, I'm sure that moment was kind of freeing for you at the same time.
I mean, it was mid crying. Like I was like,
She was releasing.
I was,
Yes.
I was,
It
I
part
was
of releasing.
crying, and then it was like an aha moment.
Yeah, it's a part of
This
releasing.
is what I'm really. This is the main.
This is the root. This is what I'm really mourning.
This is because it's like to me, it's like this is why I can't take constructive criticism. I'm the person that if I've done something, let me find out that I did something wrong. Don't come and tell me I did something wrong. That's just me, and that's how
Right.
I've always been. And when it was said, I looked at it. I looked at her. I looked at everybody that was in the room. I'm like, did you really just say that? And to me, it's like, because it's like I felt like she was coming at me.
An attack.
But she said, stop. Don't get angry. He said, listen to what I just said. And she repeated the statement. And I said, she said, I didn't just say that you were stupid. I said, what you did was stupid. And then it's like, boom, it came back and it ricocheted and it came down. And I was like, oh, okay, I took it wrong. And then I went to the room and I sat there and I thought about it. And I'm like, okay, I got to learn how to take constructive criticism. And the reason why I don't like constructive criticism is because when my mom and my dad tell me I did something wrong, it always starts off with a word or a statement or a phrase that may not be something that I want to hear at that time. Like, you, and then you're like, but I didn't know. So now it's like at my age, you not gonna come at me no way. You just gonna say that though. It's like you have to.
Right. You don't
just
get
gotta,
that buffer.
Yeah.
You don't get that preparation,
like
those
now,
buzzwords.
yeah,
You don't
like-
get those buzzwords. It just hits you like blam.
And
like
it's like
no
I'm
warning.
in my box. In my box, that filter didn't filter out that what I did was stupid. It just said, "Oh, you just said that I was stupid." You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think my favorite quote by Carol Barrett: "Only I can change my life. No one can change it for me." It speaks to you because
That's true. Yeah.
you can't change what people say to you, but you can change how you take it. And that's the biggest thing for self-admittance is how you admit to how you're wrong, how you admit how you felt when someone does something to you, and how you go from there. That's it. That's for me. That's what I take from
Now that's what I'm talking
That's
about
good
right there.
stuff.
That's get lifted right there, girl. Lift yourself up in this mug. Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes, that was good.
stuff.
That was very inspiring, and I hope that it touches a couple of you guys out there because we are all dealing with self-acceptance. We are as individuals because some of us don't know who you are as individuals. So that's why you are out there being lost and going through the battles that you're going through and the things that you're going through. You know
what?
so
I want to say this: it's hard to live your best, freest, most authentic life if you don't first accept yourself.
it's hard to love
And
anyone,
oh shoot, that's good.
especially if you can't even love yourself.
self-love.
And that's part of self-love.
It's
you
the
have
best
to
love.
Be able to accept.
Yeah.
All right now.
Yeah. That's it.
That's good stuff now.
Yeah, so
That's
maybe.
good. I mean, it's huge.
that's part of knowing who you are too. That's what you were saying.
Right,
It
you
is.
have
It is
to-
part of knowing who
right,
you are.
you have to know who you are in order to live that full, authentic life.
Absolutely.
And
And
get
be happy with
within
who you
the
are.
vicinity of whatever it is that your purpose is.
Be happy in that place too, like she was saying.
Fulfillment.
Yeah, definitely have to
So
be happy.
if
for who
we
you
are out here just trying to emulate the next fad or the next, the hottest celebrity, what they're doing, you got to steer back to your own path because you got your own greatness. Like they're great and they're stars and all that, but you know what? There's a star in you.
Exactly.
There's a star in you.
There's a star in every single one of us.
In every single one of us. God put his greatness in all of us. And it's up to us to work towards that.
And
But
shine.
first we have to believe
that you are a star.
that it's there. That it's something in you that's worth developing and bringing out and exposing to the world. We all have gifts. Those gifts are not just for us to keep. Gifts are meant to be given. And God has given us gifts that give over and over and over and over again. But we have to believe.
I think, yeah, for me, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think for gifts, people are given gifts. Like, for example, someone can do hair. And they've been given that gift. They didn't just learn it, or it wasn't an acquired task. Everybody do hair. But it's how you do your hair, how you satisfy your clients.
What make you stand out as a client?
Because I was just telling someone that the other day, because she said, well, everybody sings. Okay, but your music may touch a person different than what that person's music may touch them. Or your car may be small, but it still gets you to where you're going. So for me, I honestly think that self-admittance, it goes to every range in your life, whether it be your relationship, whether it be your money-wise, whether it be your family, whether it be
yourself.
Honestly, I stand by this. I hate social media because social media has put goals like, oh, that's life love goals. That's how you're supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to show your love. So now this is where self-love comes in. You don't know what you actually want because you've seen what someone else has and you've seen what other people have on Instagram, and they're like, oh, I want someone to buy me a purse. Why can't you just buy yourself a purse when you get there? It doesn't have to necessarily.
But why are you worried about who buying whoever purse in the first place? Okay,
like,
so I mean,
people,
it isn't even you worry about
it's
yourself.
It's so materialistic now, and it's like I feel like self-admittance. Once you get to that place of sanity and you understand that you don't need materialistic things to be happy, you don't need a partner to be happy. You have to actually find that happiness
within yourself. Yes, absolutely. Did I finish you off?
Yes.
Things,
like
things are not going to fill that void, because you know what happens if you by chance happen upon a way to get those things. What you will find is those things will eventually have you.
I like the fact that she just said that, the end about, if you have to be happy with yourself.
But if you're happy,
not worrying about no one else, really could, because if you're happy with yourself, everything else is extra.
It's a bonus.
Everything else is extra. So that's going to draw a lot of people to you or whatnot because of they see that happiness and that glow you have energy within self. That's very powerful. A lot of people don't really know that that's very powerful. Once you understand that self-love, that you have that with you, it really shows. A lot of people will see that
will gravitate towards that.
They will, and they want that right there. They come around you. They like that energy because it just does something to them. It's like a glow, like a pregnancy glow, like people.
They're like, I don't know what it is, but I want what
I want
she
that
has.
man.
No, you don't.
Her energy is awesome. Like, honestly, I mean, seriously. So, yeah, I mean, and that's where I'm at in life. That of acceptance, the fact that I'm happy with myself. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with with what's going on around me, who's there and who's not. It doesn't really matter because I know who I am as an individual, and I know what that brings to the table for anybody, friendship, anything like that. So there's no worry because of the place of where I am and the acceptance of where I am. I'm happy.
Right.
And happy day. I'm happy.
Happy
day. Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Yes.
But I really wanted to highlight something else that Millie said, and make the point that comeback thought.
Because it's so many things that you can think about with it.
But I really wanted to. It's coming to me. Hold on. It's coming to me. Self-acceptance. You have to believe that there is something uniquely that only you have that you were meant to bring to the world. There is something that nobody else, there is something inside of you that nobody else can give the world, that you were meant to give the world. There is something inside of you.
That's what makes you different, and
that you are meant to give the world. You have to believe that, because there is. There is. There just is. None of us are here by accident.
Absolutely not.
None of us are here by accident. I don't care if mama met daddy and whatever went down and they ain't even know each other. It was not an accident.
Yeah. It was meant.
You are here for a reason.
For a purpose.
You have purpose. You have purpose. And so, I mean, that's a major thing right there to understand and to grasp in order to begin to accept yourself so that you can go on that journey within yourself to find out, what is it? What is my thing? What was I put here
To do.
To do.
And get excited, because we all have it. We all have it. I'm just now starting to tap into mine at 44.
Tune in, tap in, turn on.
It's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
If you are still breathing, your heart is still beating. If you are listening to this program, it is not too late to go after your dream. And you'll be amazed at the things that happen once you make the decision to start to move in that direction, and the doors that will open. And if you don't know yet what that thing is,
Keep searching.
man, just keep doing what you know to do. Keep doing what you know to do. Don't stop that. Don't quit your day job.
No, we ain't saying that. Come call it.
Keep doing what it is that you know to do.
Your doors will open.
But make time every day to figure out, if you don't know what that is, to figure out what that is. If you know what it is, set some time every day to work on that thing. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, you'll be surprised after a week what 5 or 10 minutes a day accumulates to. I'm not about to do the math right now, but do the math and then calculate what that will be over a month and over a year. And then look at if you had done nothing at all compared to whatever that number is that you calculated.
When you started.
Look how much more you would have done if you dedicated 5 or 10 minutes a day to whatever your dream is. Because you're worth it. That's part of self-care too.
That's it. I think for me, with self-care, every month I make a vision board of what I want to get done. Necessarily, you can make one for the year, but for the month, it'll keep you on track and it'll get you closer to where you want to be. So
That's a good one.
January was basically getting myself together financially with paperwork. I'm 20, and just starting to learn how to get into the groove of filing taxes, how I would go about that. But it's like, now that I have it together, it's like, it's so much. It's like, I never realized what organizing could do. I never realized that until I went to Walmart and bought like a calendar, and I just started writing. And I'm like, all this stuff was in my head. But when I went to sleep, I was peaceful.
Yes.
And I woke up with the expectation, like, I'm like, oh, I got that to do, but it's not in my head. See, people think that, oh, it's in the back of my head, I'm gonna keep remembering. No, with self-care, you have to write these stuff down.
Really
you have to have a journal, you have to have a planner, because in this thing,
You gotta get that stuff out of your head so you can use that space to do other things. Get it out your head. Write it down in your planner, your calendar, write in your journal, whatever you find yourself. We were talking about how we cycle around in our head with those negative emotions or whatever it is. Ooh, my son. Oh, I got to talk about this. My son went through a level of anxiety that I have never seen somebody in high school go through. The level of anxiety that he was experiencing, I didn't experience until I was in college. But then I looked at all his classes, and it's all AP and honors, and I'm like, oh my God, that's why. Most of his classes are college level classes. And, he had a lot of moments where he came to me like, Mom, I just can't shake it. I'm stressing about, not doing my work. I'm stressing about me stressing. I'm stressing about me stressing, because now I'm acting out. I bust out in tears because I was overwhelmed and my friends were looking at me. So now I'm stressed about what my friends think
about me.
And so he's just going around, just oh my
He's
God,
like,
the
calm
level.
down and breathe. And
And
I just wanted to tell him that.
I'm empathic, so I'm picking up on all this anxiety, and I'm like, oh my God, oh, help my son, somebody. So we go up to the school. We go up to the school and we talk to the guidance counselor, and I'm glad that we did all of that. But one of the things that you mentioned that made me have this thought, one of the things that I made him do once we got home, even after we talked to the guidance counselor, he was a little relieved. You know, we had a plan of action to, you know, tackle the thing, you know, how, you know, tackle the work and get back on track. But we got home and he found himself still, you know, cycling around with those thoughts and just like, oh, mama, help me break out of this. I'm struggling. I'm doing it again. Like he couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. And everybody, and it was hard while we was going through it, but I'm glad we went through it because it brought us closer together as a family, and just how everybody was chipping in and helping him with homework and helping him with this and that. And I feel like part of the reason he went through that is so he could see how supported he was. And how much help he had around him, because he was doing everything himself. He's a responsible kid. He's like I was as a kid. I just get up and I do it. I organize my stuff. I get my clothes ready. You know, when I was a teenager, like my mama I didn't get help with homework. Nobody really helped me. I never really needed help with homework. So it was like, this is what I'm used to. So I was letting him handle his business because that's how I handled mine. But then when I seen that anxiety and that overwhelming, it's like, okay, I got to jump in here because my baby's struggling. But long story short, I had to make him in the beginning. I had to make him, you know, write your thoughts out. I said, I do not care. Don't let that pen leave that paper. I need you to write for the next, I don't know how long. I'm not going to set a time limit. I'll just come and check on you. But I need you to keep writing. I need to see pages. Like he had wrote, like, I walked out for a little while, came back. He had wrote like a paragraph, like almost like a third of the page. And I was like, that's not enough. You need to get it out. Because the way you're feeling, there's more than that in there. I need you to get it out.
And people think it's cliche, but it's needed.
Because even the guidance counselor, before we left, she was like, I don't even want you to come to class today. You need to go back home. She's looking at how because he hadn't been sleeping, hadn't been eating. She said, I need you to first go back home and get some sleep. Well, that's why I made him do the writing, because he couldn't go to sleep. I gave this boy a Benadryl, and he still couldn't go to sleep. So when I tell you, after I came back, that's the first time, and he only had a paragraph, and I told him, Jaden, you got to keep writing. Just let it all out. I don't care what you write. Don't censor yourself either. Whatever you feeling, swear words, whatever. I don't care. Write that out. Get it out. And when I tell you, I don't know how long, you know, a few minutes later, however long, I think he had written like a page or two or three. But when I came back in that room, he was knocked out asleep.
He was able to get all that out.
He was able to get it out
and go to sleep.
That's a way to release. That's a good way to release. Even if you can't censor yourself either. You have to let that mess out. Even if if you're worried about who's gonna see it, you can burn it afterwards.
It's funny you said that.
Let it out.
It's funny you said that. I just experienced something on Friday. Someone had said something that was just, I feel like it wasn't really appropriate or whatnot, and it mentally disturbed me. And you know, in my morning, I know I definitely like to be on a high vibration way, because my energy is high anyway. Like, you know, I'm very jolly, happy, or whatever the case is. So, you know, it just kind of did something to my spirit. And I was like, I couldn't really like get it out. Like, you know, I was making sure that my day, because it's in the early part of the day, I was making sure that my day doesn't even turn out to be a turmoil, because, you know, that could affect you in the rest of your day and how you take things, like you just said. So I was like, okay, Lord, take this in your hand, let you work, you know, you take this. But it was still in my chest. It was still in my head. It was still playing in my head, like you guys are saying. It's playing in my head.
It's like, why do we do that to ourselves?
In the morning, I am at work. I cannot freaking focus on these two freaking screens that I'm working on. Okay, I'm working on two screens, y'all.
I know what you're talking about.
And I cannot focus. I said, wait a minute. I stop what the heck I was doing and got two pieces of paper, and I started. I'm not even lying. Till I got to the end. And that felt like a freaking release. After that, when I did that, I did not burn it. I couldn't burn it because I'm at work anyway. I just fold that thing and just put it to the side. And I swear I got to work like it was done. I was able to just go to work and just do what I needed to do my day. It felt like that was, when I was done with that writing period, of that last word that I was done with, that just felt like the release was just out.
Yes.
I felt the release, like
it works.
If everybody had
because that crap was in my head, like, you know, and I used to write all the time. Because me and her, we'd be writing things and then go back to it and be like, oh my God, did I write this?
Exactly.
You know, or whatnot. We don't did that so many times, but see, I had to stop.
Yeah.
I had to stop life and life obstacles and things that going. It don't give you that time, and that's why it is happening the way it is, because we do need to halt,
and we need to
make that time to write whatever it is that's going on, because I think that it's self love too, and it'll help with some of the things that's going on or whatever the thing is.
We have to make that time.
It will help, and I think that I need to. For me, I think I need to make some type of time, and if anything that is bothering me, let me put that down on paper so that doesn't affect my day or affect my week or affect my month, whatever it is that I'm going through. Just try to release it by writing it down, because sometimes that does help, because I had some people that have told me that in the past and I just never listened to it. I never listened to it. I'm like,
and it's so funny
you
said that.
Because you don't really have time until you actually do it.
Yes.
And you realize how much help that did.
Yes.
I could have done this a long time ago. This, then I would have been feeling this, feeling a little better, or this not have taken this long to have got over whatever it is,
to
because
let it go,
and then
because
right
you hadn't released it.
And me and Lakeisha did a release.
I was just about to bring that up.
Look at that, the doggone energy.
We on the same page.
We
on the same page. I already know where you're going.
It's just like
same cycle. Just we had some loss in our past or whatnot, and it came to anniversary time for the loss. And we were still grieving. It was still in our chest. It was still in my chest as well too. So she
it wasn't. I didn't recognize my loss as being. It's just a situation that I had been through. Teresa went through a similar situation years later, and so I wanted to do this ritual with her in support of her to help her release, because I thought I was thinking it's been 17 years for me. I'm fine, know. But we did the ritual. We had some balloons. We wrote messages on the balloons, and we let the balloons go. And when I tell you,
that was so magical. Like, seriously,
I actually felt a physical release.
Yeah, we both did.
And let alone the emotional release. But I actually felt a physical release in my body, and I said, "Oh my God." I didn't realize I was still carrying that.
And then the way how the connection of how the release of the balloons went, it was even kind of like the connection. It was kind of emotional and powerful, because the direction we're headed both the same freaking way. Like, we like, oh my God,
and they kept staying.
Like, oh my God, it stayed the same freaking way. Like, oh wow, what is this? Like, it was freaking crazy. Oh my goodness, yeah. But it was, it did help. That was part of it right there.
It definitely did.
And I think that we do, like, even when you're going through anything with friends or anybody, family, like you were saying, or whatnot, you definitely do write it down and then let it go. You can come back to it and read it, and you actually would be it's healing, because you wouldn't even know that you was holding that emotion. You didn't even know that you was actually holding that energy until you come back again and then see it like, oh wow, I was actually going through this. I didn't even know that I was going through this. That's part of my healing and my growth at the same time.
And that's where mental health comes in, which I'm a big proponent of. Another way to help you release is to talk to a counselor. It's nothing wrong with it. I know there's a stigma behind it, especially in our community, but these are trained professionals. They know how the mind works, how the psyche works. Nobody's
that's exactly what I was gonna say when she talked about it.
Do any weird stuff to you. There are, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethics and ethics committees and these types of things. So, these are trained professionals, and there are some things that you can't work through by yourself. There's some things, some traumas that sometimes we've been through it's helpful and important to have somebody come and help us work through that stuff so we don't keep carrying it. We have to release stuff. People are dying because they're holding on to old stuff,
Oh, energy.
old emotional trauma, old.
On top of new trauma, and just building and building and building. So it
And it's
becomes
a
a
vicious
disease
cycle.
inside of you internally. It becomes a disease, and then you start be like, well, that person was healthy, but you don't know what that person had going
Look.
on mentally in their head.
Yeah.
For them to drop whatever in the face of nothing, and
It could just be one simple thing. One simple thing can go wrong in a person's life, and to them it seems like the whole world is coming down on them. And I honestly, I've gone through that a lot.
And some things can have a snowball effect.
Absolutely.
It might not affect the next person that way, but
to
that
you,
doesn't mean that
yeah.
it's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That just means that you
You're
need a little
different. It
extra
hits you.
help.
Like when
And there's nothing wrong with
like
that.
when I started counseling, I was 17, and in my teenage years, I'm like, I don't need this. But when I went, she was like, I'm not even gonna start asking you what happened in your past. She gave me a journal, and I looked at her and I said, what am I gonna do with a book and a pencil? She said, believe it or not, a book, a pencil, and a piece of paper, a journal, can be your best friend, because regardless of what you tell them, it's not gonna go to nobody else.
No.
Nobody else is going to be able to be in that, because that's you. And when she said that, I looked at it, I said, I went home and I wrote, between the next 3 weeks, that whole entire book was filled. But by that year, I had filled 4 of them. And it's like, it got to the point where I stopped, not saying I wasn't dwelling on people, but I didn't need them to vent. I just wrote. And it's like, when people, you have a lot of people that have trust issues. And when you have trust issues, it's hard for you to communicate how you feel internally or mentally because of what you've been through. You don't want to be judged, which is why people push people to go to counseling. And I understand people don't want to go to a stranger and talk about their stuff. Then write it down.
Then write it down. Yeah.
Because writing it down will be the biggest remedy for any problem that you have. Your boyfriend broke your heart. Write it down.
And if you believe in God, pray
Pray
it's
about it.
powerful. I mean, pour out your heart.
That's what you do with self-care.
Don't approach God with, what sounds right. What sounds good. Don't try to be all poetic.
Talk to
and
him like you mad. You
Yeah.
talk to him any kind of way.
Lord,
It doesn't even
that-
matter.
that
I come
God
to you as
doesn't
a
matter.
humble servant. No,
No,
none of that. None of that.
Talk like you talk.
Man,
talk,
look, this
talk
is
like
that
me and
XYZ,
Teresa
she
right
said
here.
this and
Like,
that.
yo, guy, look, this is what's happening. Look,
I need you to
I
take
don't know
care of
how I
this
feel
right
about this. Look, Lord, I don't know what. Look, I'm dealing with this, and this. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. Look, so I need some help.
No, for real.
Look, like whatever you need to do to release that,
Yes.
Do it.
do it. You're worth it.
Do it.
That's why I like water. That's exactly why I like water.
Do
Because
it.
believe it or not,
It's
when you get to the
relaxing.
water,
Shrink.
like, I don't know if y'all have ever been to a water that's submerged in trees. Like when you get there, when you come from the noise of the cars and the honking,
Yes.
and you
It's
walk,
so relaxing. It just.
and it's like you just drop
body
every
everything drops off.
burden, and it's just like,
Yeah.
every part of your
Yeah.
body just melts.
I feel you there. I grew up in Chicago, so we had Lake Michigan, and Lake Michigan is huge.
Mhm.
So I was grown before I actually went and swam in the ocean, and I was shocked by the salt water. Like, what's that? Because I've been swimming late. So I had that. I could walk to the beach and have that, but everybody doesn't have that. Access to water. What's some other places? I think just nature. In general, you can go to one of these trails.
yeah, there's a nice trail.
Just being in
Run a
nature
bath.
sometimes. Just
Oh no, for real, play some.
Run a
The
bath
sounds of water is even peaceful.
Yeah, the run a bath. There is those
spa.
they're at Walmart.
You can go
They're
to
at
the
Walmart.
spa.
They have those little with Buddhas with the water running down.
Yeah,
or
with the rock-
whatever,
Oh, I
with
love the
rocks.
fountains.
Yeah, yeah,
So with
yeah.
those little fountains. They
I
have
love the
those
fountains.
and whatnot. Those are really good.
In the
I have a
Zen
few of
garden.
'em at my house. Yeah.
I need to come over.
Yeah.
Another thing that I used to do and when I was younger that I didn't realize till I was older. I think me and you talked about this, Teresa, a way that I released the stress of the week. Back in the day, I would always end up somewhere dancing, whether there
Music.
was a party,
Music for me. Yeah.
or at home. I dance at home every day.
Mhm.
Like So at the end of the week, there was always something to go to, some event, whether we're going out or somebody's having a party or something. That was
lounging
my,
or something.
in those days, that was my outlet. So I look forward to that every
She
week.
loves African dancing.
I love African dance. I love all dance, period. I'm like a dance fanatic. Like, that was like one of the first things as a child that I enjoyed more than anything else. But yeah. But yeah, you have to find an outlet. You have to find an outlet so that you can release on a regular basis and not just when things become critical. Because that's important for maintenance. Even if you
self-care.
Even if you've healed all your trauma, or so you think, you still need that ongoing maintenance.
You got to continue
and self-care. Yeah, that's really important. That's really important. Wow. So I guess a big part of self-acceptance would be healing.
Self-care.
Healing.
Yeah, you have to heal too.
You have to. And part of healing is releasing. We have to not hold on to stuff.
Accepting.
All right, now.
Hold on to stuff.
Okay. Do I want to do a poem? Let's see.
I want you to close out later with one of your inspirational messages for today.
I got to.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it time right?
I think we over. Yeah. But it was so good. The energy was so on point that we just kept it going. Thank you guys again for joining us and
thank you for tuning in.
On this beautiful Saturday. It's cold outside, but it's sunny, and thank y'all for tuning in and watching. Shout out to a couple of people out there, and shout out to Lakeisha. Shout out to Derek. Hey, Derek, Uncle Dear. Hey,
So I'm gonna do a piece, and then Millie, you could take us out.
Cool.
I might do two. Let's see.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do this one. It's kind of funny. It's called Gimme, Gimme, Gimme.
Gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Give me that.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me mine. Give me mine. Give me mine. Give me my time. Give me my respect. Give me my love. Give me mine.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to ask or even demand what I want, what I need, because I give just as freely as I receive. So gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me mine.
Give me mine. I love it. Yes. Give me mine. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me mine. That was nice. That was funny.
Thank you.
That was really
It was
good.
good.
It was.
Oh, y'all waiting on me.
Yes.
I'm gonna first start off with a quote by Iyanla Vanzant.
I love her. Oh
Yes,
my
me
goodness. I
too.
can't wait to
Yeah.
meet her. Like, hey, y'all. Shout out to Yana.
I'm gonna give her a big hug.
Shout out.
Cause them hugs, she be.
I just want
them
her
hugs are
energy. Like,
comforting.
I just want a big hug and get that energy because she's so inspiring to me. Like, the things that she said and just how she reads people is just so, it's gifted. That's a gift.
Yeah.
And I just want to bless her in her work and continue of her work. So hopefully if she's listening to us one day, but now you come to our show, that would be awesome. We would love for you to bless us.
It would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, but the quote says, "Everything happens to you is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. We cannot outperform our level of self-esteem. We cannot draw to ourselves more than what we think we are worth." To the viewers out there, I ask that, God opens your eyes to see the real you, that you were created to be fearfully and wonderfully made, that situations that you face necessarily don't define you. You are not a mistake because God makes no mistakes. No matter what you believe in, understand that you are here for a purpose. And that purpose, once it is predestined on your life, you cannot change it. No one can change how you feel. No one can change what you are made of. No one can change how you react to what is said to you. But what you can change is how you take it. I ask that you get a peace of mind that you can think clearer and move smarter and love yourself harder, because I tell everybody this year 2020 is personal. If you do not get the fundamentals of self-care in this now, in this January or this February, it's going to be hard, because this year is very personal. And I'll leave it with that.
Oh my
you,
goodness.
Millie.
I had freaking
Thank you.
chills
That was
all over my
awesome.
doggone body while she was reading that right there. Like,
That
I'm
was
cold right
good.
now.
That was good.
Like, I'm serious. That was very,
that was
very
good. And an awesome
soul
prayer,
searching.
and I
And
received that.
I did.
you.
I received it really hardly to my heart and to my soul.
I received that.
Thank you
And
for talking
so,
to my soul. Yeah.
Yes.
It was not only to my heart, to my soul. And that's why we have you here today, because some of the ones that you have had before, and they were very touching. So, and like I said, I've shared them to a lot of people in the morning, and, so that it can do something to them. And they come to me and they say something. And I was like, that's my cousin.
Yeah.
And this is what she do. It lift people up. So that's what we are here for. That's what we're here to lift people up, to levitate, elevate you guys to the next level. And we really appreciate you guys for being here and listening to us, because we really are in tune, and we trying to, help and send messages to them out there. So,
Keep going.
to keep going and keep moving, because life is
Fight
a
the
challenge.
fight.
Life is going to always challenge us, but it's just how you choose to move forward. It's not, nothing's perfect and nothing is forever, but if you are happy with self, there's nothing better than that. And that right there takes you a long way.
And if you're not,
Get in tune with self.
then you just get in tune with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with accepting.
and accept yourself.
It's not late.
That's the first step.
It's not. Learn to love yourself, because you are awesome
That's the
as an
first
individual. I'm telling
to
you, that's
loving
why
yourself.
people are gravitating and they're drawn to you for who you are. I want to get to know you or whatnot, because you are unique in your own personal and special way. You are. And just allow yourself to grow, and allow yourself to be loved and love yourself, and then see what happens with that, because it will take you a long way.
Very,
Self-love.
very long way.
A long way. And with that being said, I'm going to read the final piece, which is called Now What? I have the power to choose to paint whatever picture that I so desire. Doubt and fear are no matter, because we need only choose to go higher, to fire the engine of manifestation and steer it in the direction of self-realization. So the pertinent question at all points of gestation is, now what? Then use your imagination.
That's it right there.
Thank y'all for tuning in, y'all.
Thank you
This
guys
has been
for tuning in.
Poetic Levitation
Poetic
Live.
Levitation Live is in the house, y'all. Until
third
next
show.
time. Yes. And tune us again, and we'll see you guys again next time. And with a special thanks to my cousin Millie for coming out and blessing us, with her.
Thank you so
inspirational-
much for coming out,
Yeah.
Millie. I
and
so
lifting
enjoyed
some people
you,
out
and
here. Thank you
just
so much.
shared
We
so
love your
young,
energy.
but so full of wisdom.
Yeah, and that's
know?
and we're blessed to have you here. So you
Yes.
guys, and she has a page. Tell them your little page that you got, so they can follow you.
So I don't really have a page yet. It's coming soon, probably
Coming
next
soon.
yeah,
Coming soon.
in
Coming
March.
soon.
But my Instagram is Mills like the money.
Mm-hmm.
BBY _. I post inspirationals all day.
Yeah,
If I
Yes.
see
and they're
it,
dope. So yeah,
if I
they
see
are.
it, if I feel it, I post it. Oftentimes what I post is what I'm going through, because so to know that not everybody in this world is perfect. I go through stuff too, and so what
of
I go
course,
through,
you won't be able to post them. It
I
won't be as
reflect.
sentimental as reflecting that as it is. It would touch people the way it does if you haven't went through it yourself. So
True,
that's
true,
definitely
true.
Yeah.
that's why like I told you, some of them give me chills. So it because of the fact that it reaches you the way it does, and for you to have that as message for it to go out there,
Mhm.
it's already doing its own thing. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
you guys,
And you can also check out, we often feature Millie's things on our
Get Lifted.
inspiration
Yeah, it's
page,
on our page.
Get Lifted page
Mhm.
on
It's on our page, so
poeticlevitation.com.
It
So
is.
yeah, you can check her out there. We use a lot of her quotes and inspiration throughout the month
Yeah.
on our Get Lifted page.
I
So
didn't see
yeah,
it.
you can check her out there too.
No, it's okay. I know you're gonna have some more on there. We're gonna definitely
For
add some more on there.
Oh, definitely.
So
We're always changing it up. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So lots to come, you guys.
Honored.
And
I'm so honored. so honored. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure on this wonderful Saturday, you guys. And
Guys,
this is your host talking over there, Miss Lakeisha, Prima
AKA
Donna
Prima
Lampkin,
Donna, aka Knucklehead. But anyway,
aka Good Heart, aka Good Heart, aka Good Mommy.
and my co-host extraordinaire,
Teresa, aka
Teresa.
African Queen. And coming soon, we have a nice little clothing line that I got coming out. Coming soon, it's in works.
coming soon,
It's
y'all.
called Assets Fashion. Asset Unique Fashion, actually.
Asset Unique Fashions. Yes.
And it's going to be some African attires that's going to be on there. And we're going to have a couple of models, probably modeling some of the clothing. So we would like you guys to check it out. Pages will be coming out soon. I'm just taking my time because I'm very picky and unique. So I just want to take my time to birth this new baby that I have coming out. My brother has a line out. You know, he has African King out.
African.
African.
Yes.
And shout out to bro. So again, thank you, Millie, for coming out. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the Saturday and the rest of the weekend.
Have a great rest of the weekend, like Teresa said, and y'all can tune in and hear us again the first Saturday in March.
Indeed.
All right. I love y'all. Peace out.
Love you guys. Until next time.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care. Self-care.
Take
Love
care.
yourself.
Self-care.
Always love yourself.